Hey everyone, I'm C2 and welcome to part 2 of my review of Hyperdimension Neptunia, the worst JRPG that we have ever seen on the PS3. If anyone actually watches my show, you might remember last time me going over the basics of the game's fighting mechanics as well as the premise for the story. Well, anyways, let's get back into it and see if we can find those key fragments. Oh, and if anyone asks or complains about the fact that I call Neptune Nipple, if you look closely at her item skills, her first very healing ability is called Nep Bowls. She is literally healing herself using her nipples. I can make all the nipple jokes I want, so whatever.
Anyways, let's just get back to getting the key fragments. Or not, because apparently we can only go one full dungeon before getting sidetracked. Although, considering the whole origins for this journey comes from a mysterious voice that only a girl who suffered recent head trauma can hear, I wouldn't be all that responsive to help either. So we go to the cave to fight monsters and apparently talk about how they make babies, where we just so happen to meet our third party member, IF, who is a member of an organization called the Guild, which consists of people who were scorned and excommunicated from their homelands for not worshipping the goddess of the land that they were born on. So IF joins the party for this one dungeon because she is also here to hunt monsters as part of a job. IF's special ability is called Treasure Hunter, which allows her to find the invisible treasure chests in dungeons. What is kind of annoying about her ability is that if you don't stand directly on top of the treasure chest, it won't appear, and you have to wait for the gauge to recharge, which just forces you to stand around waiting for it to recharge because you're just going to run the risk of an encounter if you move around and the timer doesn't recharge while you're in combat. This ability is actually fairly useless because remember, you can't sell your gear back to the shop. Anything you find, you keep, and most of the time the stuff you will find in the chest aren't all that great to begin with, and you just waste your time and risk getting attacked by monsters that make you waste your items on item skills.
Yeah, speaking of random encounters, let me just tell you how crappy the dungeons are in Hyperdimension Neptunia. There are no random encounters. There are systematic encounters. I checked. After 50 fights, I noticed that there was this pattern between every single encounter. And I counted the steps for those 50 fights. It's between every 32 to 40 steps. You are guaranteed to run into a monster. I mean, in a random encounter RPG, you could fight a monster between your next step, the next square spot you move, or you might almost not fight any monsters at all. I mean, I know nowadays with random encounter RPGs, it's become a little more systematic, but here's the thing that really grinds my gears about Hyperdimension Neptunia and their fights. You can't escape from fights. If you get into a fight, you have to fight. No matter what the situation is, no matter what level the enemy is, you have to fight. Yes, there are these two different items that I'll explain. One is the escape button, and you can use that item to escape from a fight. But here's the thing. Here's the goddamn thing. You can only carry one at a time, and you can only get them from the shop, which means you have to leave the dungeon first before you can actually get another one. And you can only carry one, so you only get one freebie shot to run.
There can be only one.
Yeah. Oh, and the other one is, there's an item that you can use to actually escape from the dungeon itself, but here's the thing. I have never been able to figure it out. You could go into the menu, select that item, and nothing happens. I looked through the game manual. It explains nothing about this item. It does not explain how you use it. You can't click on it, you can't use it, there's no buttons, there's no description, no nothing that explains how you use it to escape the dungeon. This game wants to trap you in these dungeons and force you to fight, to not let you escape, to keep you there as long as you can until you just want to kill yourself.
Did I mention how lazy the music is in this game yet? Most dungeons use this weird kind of Arabic sounding music that most of the time doesn't even go with the dungeon you're in, and when you enter into battles, guess what music they play as their battle music? It's the same fucking music as the dungeon music, just sped up to make the battle seem more epic. Talk about fucking lazy. They honestly couldn't think of anything better to put in? Oh, and to speak of lazy game design, there are like less than 10 different dungeon designs in this whole game, and they generally all have the same solid, boring ass colors like blue or green. Oh, and guess what? Every dungeon, every single fucking dungeon in this entire game, from the very first one to the final boss, all the dungeons only have one fucking level in it. I honestly don't think you can call this a dungeon crawler game if all the dungeons just have one level. Fuck, these are just mazes rather than dungeons. Honestly, instead of dungeon crawling, this feels more like
mazes and monsters?
Right. You know how to play it?
Anyways, that's about it for dungeons in this game, so let's just get back to the story. Nipple explains to IF about history and the search for the key fragments. Despite her better judgment that this could all be complete bullshit, IF decides to join the group, because if they are really trying to save the world, then it can't be left in the hands of these two.
Yeah, so just because they said they were going to save the world, they were actually able to get IF to help them for free? Actually, that just gave me an idea. What do you want, boy? Saving the world? Now how in tarnation is cleaning out your closet gonna help me save the world? Well, I done reckon you could be lying, but I ain't gonna take the risk that you could be telling the truth. So I'll be right over. Thanks, mysterious cowboy. I didn't think that would actually work.
So knowing that the key fragments are being protected by strong monsters, IF suggests to go to the Basilicoms in order to get more information. If they want to travel to another landmass, they're going to need a permit, because the Basilicoms also control the sky harbors. But before we just go to another landmass, let's try out a few side quests to level up a bit. Oh, and be careful about which dungeon you pick, because the game won't tell you what's the recommended level for the dungeon right before you enter it. You can only look that up when you are on the menu of the world map. When you do side quests, there's a timer that keeps track of how long you take, which affects your ranking for that quest. This timer also gets uploaded to the leaderboards to compare your time with fellow players. For me, it's just a reminder of how much time I wasted on this game. So we get to the end of the dungeon and fight the boss and win and get scored and earn money based on our score. What the fuck? The connection timed out? Okay, whatever. I don't care about uploading my score. Just give me my money so we can go. What the hell? It froze? I can't do anything. What the fuck? Yeah, that's right, people. If you do any side quest, you have to make sure you save right before you complete the dungeon, because if you don't, the game will freeze on you and you have to reset your PS3. Even if it's a fight you might have won based on luck or a really hard boss you finally managed to beat, you will have to do it all over again because of this fucking glitch that they never fixed. When I first played this, I didn't know about this and had to start the whole dungeon over again from the beginning. Fuck, anyways, this time I saved right before the fight, so let's do this again and get out of here. Are you fucking kidding me? Damn it!
This game fucking trolls you, and I mean literally! It trolls you!
It's not just the boss battles either. Take a look at this level where I have to find 5 cells of gelatin. I mean, what the fuck? I just found 3 units of gelatin, but that doesn't count to the 5 that I need. I mean, come on, this game only said that I need to find these things, but it never says that it only counts if it's from monster fights. The game doesn't even give a proper explanation of how to do its 3 supposedly simple objectives. Screw this, let's just get back to the story. So, Nipple and gang go to the Basilicom in order to get the papers needed to travel to the other landmasses. For some reason, IF tells Nipple to go in alone despite the fact that she is suffering from amnesia and doesn't even know how the world works. Yeah, great pick for the person you want to handle all the bureaucratic bullshit. Oh yeah, I want to let you know about this now. Every NPC in this entire game is black. And I don't mean that in any kind of racist way. All of them are displayed as nothing more than these black silhouettes of people. I mean, what kind of fucking motivation are we expect to have to save the world when we can't even see the people that we're supposed to be saving? I can understand that they needed to do the silhouettes for the cameo appearances that they had throughout the entire video game of characters from other different series, but when you make all the NPCs like this, I mean, what's the difference? How can you even tell who is the cameo and who is actually just part of this game? This is by far the laziest piece of shit in NPC design I have ever seen. I mean, even 8-bit graphics had better creativity than this. So now we should be able to go to the next landmass, right? Nope! We still have to go to another dungeon because there are still so many monsters left on Planetoon. So yeah, instead of working to kill off the source of these monsters, we're just gonna waste time by killing some of the small fry. Troubled people, who the hell cares? We can't even see them, for God's sakes. So we once again go and fight the boss at the end of the dungeon. You know, I feel a bit bad for them. I mean, it's not like they're even attacking me or anything. It's just really just standing there. So with that boss beaten, we can finally get to the next land.
見つけたぞ、ネプテューヌ。まさか本当に下界に降りていたとはな。この時代遅れの笑い声は。
Well, considering she uses a melancholic laugh, I'm gonna go with the villain of the story? Maybe?
時代遅れは余計だ。だが、人をおちゃくる意地の悪さも相変わらずだな。
Oh. Wait, my bad, that's not the villain. It's gotta be an animated version of Lady Gaga cosplaying as Blair Witch from Soul Eater.
Actually, it is the villain for this story, and hey, we get to fight her.
まだだ。まだ。私は。これくらい私には余裕よ。くそ。大して強くもないくせになぜ。そう。プラネテューヌだからか。プラネテューヌは。
I would like to point out that that comment is complete bullshit because Nipple does not get any kind of bonus for fighting on Planetoon. You know, it's probably the fact that you fought them 3-on-1 that you lost. Anyways, now we can finally travel to the other landmasses by using the Sky Harbor. So the way it works in this world is that all the landmasses are basically these huge floating islands that move closer to and away from each other from time to time, and the only way that we're allowed to cross is by a bridge we use when the landmasses are close to each other. But there are a lot of things that bug me about this whole damn system. First off, why do we have to take a bridge when there are fucking airships? I mean, come on, can't we just buy a ticket and ride on one of those? It would be a lot faster than crossing some stupid bridge. Oh, and speaking of bridges, the second annoying thing about this system is there actually isn't any fucking bridges. It's actually a dungeon that you have to travel through to get to the other landmasses every single fucking time we want to travel between the landmasses, and guess what? The level of monsters and the treasure inside are never replaced or adjusted as you level. It's the same fucking pointless thing over and over, and there is no fast travel between the landmasses. Also, how the fuck are these dungeons even formed? I mean, two giant continent-sized landmasses collide into each other to temporarily form this perfect underground tunnel that connects them? That's complete bullshit. And it's the same design every single time. Wouldn't it be different or some collapse, or wouldn't it be very dangerous for people even to go through these? Because what happens if the landmasses break apart or something crazy happens? I mean, this is not a good idea for a form of travel. Shit, anyways, we're finally here. The land of Xbox. Or, I mean, Leanbox. So let's go find that key fragment. Let's see. What's this? Wait, blog? Goddesses keep blogs. Oh well, who the hell cares? I mean, if the Pope can have a radio show, then I guess goddesses can have blogs. Meanwhile, the mysterious corset woman confronts history about Neptune's actions. You know, I really have to question her fashion sense because, I mean, honestly, why is she wearing a thorn necklace? I mean, hell, just ask her to rotate her head and she'll probably hit her jugular on her own. I also have to really ask, but why the hell does she never lower her arm? I mean, is she airing out her pits or something? Honestly, no matter what pose you take, you're not gonna look threatening in that getup. Well, whatever. Let's just get back to finding those damn key fragments. Oh, hey, look. Greenheart updated her blog.
突然ですが、今日の日記は移住を考えている人のためにリーンボックスの魅力を紹介したいと思います。知らない人はいないと思いますが、リーンボックスのハードは私グリーンハートです。雄大なる緑の大地と呼ばれるリーンボックスはゲーム業界では最も緑豊かな大陸です。そうね、みんながよく遊ぶゲームで例えると中世という言葉がよく合うと思いますわ。
Yeah, I don't think these guys are gonna agree with you there.
とても住みやすい環境ですので、近年では定年後の人生を過ごす方や子育てをする方で移住する人が増えています。
Yet, the main target audience for Xbox games has always been geared towards guys in their late teens to early 20s.
リーンボックスに
You're telling me I can barely afford my gold membership.
これが簡単なリーンボックスの特徴です。次からは細かくリーンボックスの良さを紹介していく予定です。次の更新日にまたお会いしましょう。
Well, other than giving me more material for jokes, that was fairly pointless. So we go to the Leanbox Bestcom to find out where we can find monsters who have key fragments. Wait, her name is Conversation? So we're basically having a conversation with Conversation, aren't we? Actually, that name reminds me of something. What was it?
Previously on condensation.
Ellen, there's moisture on the outside of my glass.
It's condensation, Johnny.
But what about the fog on the windows?
It's not fog, Johnny. It too is called condensation.
Condensation.
Anyways, the Archbishop shows up and gives us a detailed map of where the monsters are. You know, so we can avoid them despite the fact we just said we want to fight them. So of course, we go to the dungeon and fight the monsters, but we didn't find a key fragment, so let's move on to the next dungeon. Well, this dungeon seems to be a bit better. I mean, at least it has snow and monsters that actually look somewhat threatening, and...
God damn it, did anyone even beta test this game when they imported it? I mean, it even freezes during the basic attack animations. I mean, my god, how can they mess up that simple of programming? I mean, when you import a game, you can't just slap on some dubs and slap in some subs and call it a day. You have to actually play the game on local systems to see if the compatibility is actually good. I mean, what the fuck were they thinking? I mean, they were probably too embarrassed to play this game themselves, and I can't believe that... Oh, hey, Mysterious Cowboy, when did you get here? Now, what in the same hell are you doing, boy? Get off your ass and get off that game and come help me clean out your own damn closet. Hold on, I'll be there in just a sec. Anyways, everyone, I'm C2, and stay tuned next time for part 3 of this crappy-ass game. Here, you can just move that into the closet right now. By the way, what was that sound just now? Oh, that was just my horse calling me. Your horse can call you? Yeah, they got an app for that now, boy.
Give him all!